More Democratic presidential candidates want Congress to start an impeachment probe of President Trump. After special counsel Robert Mueller's first comments on his investigation, Mueller said yesterday he could not exonerate the president and explained why he could not go any further.
Under long-standing department policy, a president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he is in office. That is unconstitutional. The opinion says that the Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president of wrongdoing.
Some Democrats claim that statement points the way to impeachment. The president tweeted this morning, Robert Mueller would have brought charges if he had anything, but there were no charges to bring.
Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett joins us now with more. Major, Robert Mueller chooses his words very carefully. What words stood out to you? What messages were embedded in those remarks?
Well, I don't really think this is a process by which you have to read between the lines. It was almost a Jeopardy question, the way Robert Mueller put it yesterday. There is a process other than the criminal justice system to charge a sitting president. What's the answer? The answer is impeachment. I mean, essentially, that was the way Robert Mueller laid this before Congress. And it is now up to House Democrats to take that implicit and explicit message from the special counsel, citing the constitutional prerogatives and the means by which to take up this question. Is the behavior of the sitting president acceptable under the long-standing constitutional definition, high crimes and misdemeanors, to keep him in office, or begin a process of deciding whether or not charges should be brought and the Senate should try the president? That's the essence of it. But something just happened this morning that I think is very important. In addition to the tweet that Anthony just read, the president also tweeted this: I had nothing to do with Russia helping me to get elected. It was a crime that didn't exist. Why is that important? I believe that is the very first time President Trump on Twitter or anywhere else has said Russia helped to get him elected. So previously, everyone in the White House said, no, we went to Wisconsin, we went to Michigan, went to Pennsylvania. That's why we got elected. This is the sum total of the Mueller investigation creeping in not only to the public consciousness, but the consciousness of the president and those around him.
Yeah, it's a major acknowledgement indeed. Robert Mueller began his remarks and ended his remarks by calling attention to the fact that Russia had interfered in the election and thought that should be important and on the minds of all Americans. The question now, with this acknowledgement in this tweet from the president, is the White House doing something to ensure that the 2020 election will not be interfered with in a similar fashion?
Well, Sarah Sanders said yesterday on the White House driveway, the White House and the administration have an all-of-government approach to prevent any kind of meddling in the 2020 election, taking it more seriously, she said, than the previous administration, meaning the Obama administration. That is a long-standing talking point. But it is important to take the White House assessment of the Mueller report at face value, which is the intrusion was real. It is a threat in 2020, and that can no longer be contested, even though the president at times gives it a try.
Major, what do you think the president's tweet this morning suggests about how the White House feels about impeachment?
Well, I think it feels the same way it always has about impeachment. Number one, that it's a political gift for the White House. That's what they want to project. They want to continue to suggest to Democrats it is folly for you to do this. I'm not saying that is true. I'm saying the White House wants to project that as a way to discourage Democrats from going down this road. The White House believes House Democrats are still reluctant to go there, but unless this process begins, no one will know for sure. The White House is trying to play a poker player's game, bluffing their way through this idea that if you go down the road from impeachment, you're going to guarantee the president's reelection.
Major, before you go, how should we, the people, process this? If you listen to the White House, they're saying case closed. If you listen to the Democrats, they're saying this is really impeachment referral, what Robert Mueller was saying. How should the public process what they heard yesterday?
It can be both, Gayle, because the criminal matter, it is essentially case closed. No charges brought on a broader conspiracy or obstruction. But that's not a standard necessarily for a president. The standard for a president is, did you do something in office that the Congress decides is unbecoming and destructive of the institution of the presidency itself? It's a separate non-criminal question which Congress led by the House Democrats, is going to have to confront sooner rather than later.
All right, Major Garrett. Thank you, Major. Our Jan Crawford will sit down later today with Attorney General William Barr for an exclusive interview. You can see that tomorrow here on CBS This Morning.